Here's just a little update where I'm at. Out of videos, so it'll be a little while before I get the budget to do something. But I've been fighting with the wagon. This engine originally came out of the art rod, the black truck. This was the roller. When it came out, it had valve seals were going bad. Cold start up, smoke, warm up, no smoke. So it was a simple fix. Did all that when I pulled the engine, but the new problem occurred is mostly on the passenger side. There's a little bit on the driver's side. It's burning oil. So I've done a lot. I've pulled the intake, resealed the intake, double checking that wasn't it. Then it got a misfire bad. It was popping galore. So I ended up replacing all the spark plugs again, and then got the wires. The wires are a mess. They sent me the wrong wires, but I needed to make for sure it wasn't something else causing this new popping. So these are for overheaders for the Nova. With this exhaust, you got to do underheaders. So you need the unders. They're a little bit longer, but you can make them work. I just got it kind of rigged out. Look ugly, but this is no show car, so I truthfully don't really care. But eventually I will get the underheader just so I can run them underneath by the oil pan and they come up to the plugs. That actually looks better than the overs because you can't see them. They drop behind the engine right off the distributor and they run underneath. So when it gets done, you won't be able to see the wires. But I can't complain because I ordered the Ultra 40 or the 40s. I forgot. They're $50 somewhere around there. They're the economy performance. They're decent. We're also black wires, but they sent me these Ultra 40s, which these are 110. So that was the first time I've actually ever got an upgrade. Usually I get shorted, wrong crap, but so either way, these are actually going to go on the Blazer, the K5, eventually when I start rebuilding, upgrading that. But where this one's at now, the wires and the plugs, I did the cap. I started with the cap rotor coil. That didn't fix it, and then I did the plugs and the wires. Problem is I was an idiot. I was supposed to leave the plugs in and just do the wires so I can eliminate which one was actually causing it. So now I don't know because it did fix it. So I'm willing to bet it was fouled out plugs. But the issue is the plugs were new too, even though they were black and oil coated. But I've cleaned them up, put them back in, and it didn't make any difference. But I'm still leaning towards it was the plugs, but it could have been wires. I did see some cuts, and the wires I had in here were left over from a couple cars mismatched. And I noticed some of the other ones had cuts in them, whatever. So who knows? Either way, it was one of the two did fix it. There's no more popping. But where I'm at now is the smoke. So what I'm actually going to do, this is the last thing I'm going to do on this engine before it's going to just get pulled. This is just a what would you call it? It's just an engine that I want to use to move the cars around as they're being built. The engine that goes in this car is the 327 that came out of it, that spun a bearing because the people didn't listen to me and they should have flushed it. It sat too long. And what had happened, they of course ran it, and I don't know. Oh, there was even no oil pressure gauge on it. I wasn't there, but regardless, it was ended up being starved of oil. I think it didn't have an oil pressure gauge. If it had had that, they would have seen it and be able to shut it down. Because what I ended up finding out was on the Novas, the LS engines kind of took the concept from it. The V8s and the Novas are a front sump pan because of the steering for the V8s, the original stuff. So that has a pickup tube that runs from the pump all the way forward into the front sump. And what I saw was whoever did it originally 30, 40 years ago, whatever, didn't, they kind of just rigged it. They bolted it, it worked, but what I saw, what happened was the way they did it, the pickup tube going into the pump, they should have tack welded that, but it was loose, real loose. So I already know what was happening is obviously it was getting a lot of air. So the gauge would have showed it had low pressure, no pressure, whatever. But that's what caused that. So the 327's got to get that fixed. And then that's actually the final engine for this one. But this one was to help get it on the road moving. And then this one's going to be the permanent engine for the 65, because they don't need a big engine. They're not going to be race cars. They're going to be drivers. So this is the final engine for the 65 two-door that I got to build in the backyard. But what I'm going to do now is just see if I happen to over tighten a rocker or something. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do a hot adjustment on these and just see if that does anything. If not, then somehow the valve stems or a burnt valve, something must have happened. And this was just recent, because it did not do that when it was in the truck. All it had was valve stem seals, and it just started, so didn't have any real miles on it. Or it's one of those deals. This wagon has been fighting to not be on the road on every aspect. I've never had one be this stubborn, but and I've done well over 21 rides, cars myself, full builds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you add that up, you know, even though this one has been roughly a year, the truck was 1 year, that's still over 21 years per car, you know, 1 year per car. But that doesn't count the Camaro and other cars that I built for other people. But like I said, this one has been just a nightmare. Eventually, after, you know, the 327 comes, that's when I'll focus more on the cleanup, just to make it a little bit clean. But it's not like it's going to be a hood popper. Like I said, this is not for shows, not for anybody else. This is what I want for a daily driver. So other than that, that's where I'm at with this one, fighting it big time. It's definitely heat related too when it warms up. So it could be a number of things. They're iron heads, so not likely. If it was aluminum heads, I can lean towards a head gasket too, but compression's not really showing anything. It's like I said, this one just has weird sounds, but I'm not going to go into it too much further. Already, as far as I went, is pulling the intake, resealing it. I was thinking it was getting some kind of blow by or something, or because it was mostly on the intake, and it looked like it was on number 8 the most, as far as reading the plugs. And then I did a pressure test and all that. So the number 6 was kind of weird on the pressure test, but like I said, this is just weird because it did not do that in the truck. It ran fine, and it's still, like right now, it'll fire right up, run smooth, which is sad because obviously it's not limping or hurt. But for now, I'm going to pull this cover, do a hot adjustment to see if I have any valves out, and then go from there. Like I said, this is just for getting on the road for a while, give me time to get the budget for the 327. So, and it's not just the machine shop, so when I do it, I need to convert it to a roller cam, and I may upgrade the heads. My issue is when I get an engine took down to a certain spot, I'm a type that I'm just not going to throw it back together. When I was young and dumb, I would do it. Now it's like, well, since it's apart, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's the main reason why the black truck, is still on the stage 1, because I want to do stage 3, which is the heads, the cam, and that stuff. So it needs the heads bad. The heads are way undersized on it, the wrong heads, but that's how I got the engine. But it's like, well, since I'm doing the heads, I want to put the big cam in, all that stuff. So that's why it's waiting, because it's not just a simple, cheaper job. This is going to be the same thing when this one goes down. It's going to get fresh rings, fresh head built. Like, you know, another 200,000 mile engine or whatever, you know. So, but that's where I'm at. I think I've said it before. I'm not Hollywood YouTuber. I rather you look at the engine than my face. So, you know, I don't mind Hollywood videos. I call Hollywood when the people are talking into the camera, like they're trying to do a TV show or something. But which is fine. I watch channels like that, but I'm just not that way. You know, get the girl out of the way. I want to see the car. I'm a real gearhead, but the other thing is I'm a real channel. I have budgets. I don't have like forever projects where I can show stuff every week. I don't have that kind of income. So if I did, then obviously last video I watched, I did over 6 months ago. So what I did is all the work I did on this wagon, I was doing the videos, and they were about anywhere from 3 to 6 months ahead. For as many videos as I did, I was able to post one every single week automatically. That's what's nice about YouTube. You can just upload them and schedule them. So basically all the work I did was just auto posting one a week until it ran out. And that was the last video, which was done over 6 months ago. So the next ones obviously will be pretty damn fresh, because I don't have abundance of extra ones. But I'm just going to post this just for people that don't know or expect this to be like a regular Hollywood YouTube wannabe TV show kind of thing. That ain't the way we work. And most of my videos are going to be how to do's, especially on the Novas, because there's nothing on them unless you won the lotto and you can afford the Heinz front ends and all the TCI and all the super expensive shit. But you won't see that from here. But there's no how to do, especially on the wagons, just for even little stuff. That's why I've done a lot of those videos. I had to figure it out, help somebody else out. Pretty much caught up with this one. Like I said, it's about on the road. I still got to do the center console and all the other crap, but that's later on, when that's kind of the extra money that the budget goes to when I have that, because it's more of a luxury, not a actual functionality. So I focus on functionality first. That's why everything's brand new: suspension, steering, brakes. Focus on all that, getting rid of that suicide reservoirs. And then Novas, it sucks because I see a lot of people run the single suicide reservoirs, and I'm like, even the brokest guy shouldn't be, it shouldn't be that dumb, because you can literally get a $40 or $50 dual drum master cylinder, which this car had on it. And then the way they have it is the line goes to the front and it keeps going to the front, and then it actually connects to the back. It's all one line, but all you have to do is disconnect the rear that goes up here, and then you just take it a line there, and there's your front, and then you connect a union to the rear, and now you got a dual master. And it works so much better, on top of the safeness. Wheel cylinders, if you've been riding cars long enough, they blow with no warning. You can't see them. Half times you don't even realize it until your pedal starts feeling it. The Blazer did that on one of the rears. It was actually taking out the sway bar, and it sat overnight on a lift. Next morning, I happened to catch my eye. I saw brake fluid running down the rear tire. Just random. The master cylinder, wheel cylinder, just went out. Well, yeah, that's one of those deals where they're cheap, because this is a standard Chevy 2-bolt. So all you need is a manual 4-wheel drum, which I don't know if there might be some power 4-wheel drums, but mostly all manuals, like early 70 Blazers, what I use, 4-wheel drum, like 71, right in that area. They all bolt in, same thing. I had no mods. This is a power or a manual disc drum. As you can see, it's small in the front, big in the back. This is a manual disc drum, and this bolted right in, no mods, nothing, not a single thing, except for I had the valve. But other than that, the manual drum brake one was exactly the same, bolt in, no mods, no adjustment, nothing. It just works, simple. So it hurts when I see that. Like, that's one of the first things I'd do to Nova. You know, if you're gonna street it or care. But other than that, that's it. That's where I'm at. When I post a video, I post a video. This is not a even though it looked like it. That's like I said, a ton of videos and had them scheduled posted. But in most cases, there'll be times where my channel's dead because budget's out and I ain't got much to do, or I'm busy doing other things. So I post when I post. And a lot of videos, especially on like the black truck, they're literally for me. Even though I post them just in case some fabricator or somebody else is bored and wants to watch. But what I've done is lots of times I don't know how I built it. I just did it. And quite a few times already I go back on my own videos and see what I did. Or I have an idea and I use one of my old videos and watch what I did to change it. But so there is, like, the black truck's a big one. Building that whole bed, the 4-link, all that crap. That I actually use for myself. And also when I'm dead and gone, that was another reason about 4 years ago I started posting. All my kids and family will be able to see what I did. Because this big part of my life is gearheading. It's in the blood. I have a history, so if you're new, whatever, don't expect this to be a normal money. This ain't a money YouTube channel. I'm not looking at it to make money. Don't ever think it's gonna make money. Don't care, even if it's 1 million subscribers. Just like my Grow channel, it was just teaching people what I know, right or wrong, you know, one way or the other. If it works, I show it, you know, and I don't get commercialized. Grow channel, I had sponsors galore trying to get me, but as soon as you tell them that, you know, if it's crap, I'm gonna tell everybody, they're like, oh, nope, sorry, we can't deal with you to tell it. They don't like you telling the truth. So I've been down that sponsored road, so you won't see that from me unless it's someplace that gives me total freedom. There's a couple companies out there, Mars Hydro is one of them, that just, they don't care. They give you stuff, say, hey, if it's messed up, go ahead and say it. Like, they're real. Those are the companies I would consider dealing with if I actually need or use something they have. But in most cases, like, I don't care. I'm not doing this for fame. Look at me. I want everybody to recognize me when I'm out in the public, feel like a movie star, all that horse shit. You know, I don't care about that shit. It's like you won't see me very rarely at car shows. Occasionally I'll go when my kids show up, something, or just totally bored. And then usually I'm just so bored, I'll just record and make a video for you guys, because I'm not a car show guy. I'd rather be driving than just sitting there looking at cars. And like my black truck, the black truck has been to several car shows, but you know, it's, to me, most car shows, they're a waste of time. And now they're getting all expensive. They're charging $25, all this stupid fee crap. You know, and I'm like, well, why don't charge for people that don't give a shit about your awards and all the other crap and just want to be there to support the car world, but they don't work like that. And then their little BS trophy shows. With this truck, it's a prime example. It's been there a lot. And I've had other pieces of shit that somebody bought and didn't even build, but they win because they have more friends and family that show up. I see it all the time in car shows, even nice cars. It basically comes down to how many friends and family you have to vote for you. It's almost like a blue state Democrat voting system. How many friends and family you got to vote for your shit? So I don't bother with that. And then most car shows I go to, they're buyers, they're not builders. So some of them try to talk to me, but they don't have a clue about actually building. You know, they act like it, but you could tell right away that just because they did spark plug change don't mean they built their car. It's nothing bad about them people. I still respect all the car stuff, but for me it's just difficult. Someone tries to conversate and, you know, they're not my type, so they don't understand. Like, you know, I spent years in all weather doing this in a driveway, you know. But anyways, enough of the rant. That's where I'm at. It's who I am. I'm not going to do a video on this hot adjustment, all that shit. There's tons of them on the internet, so there's no reason to do a how to do. The only thing that's a pain in the ass on this one is I use, of course I have a big power system, but I use big cables, so I'm gonna try to do this one without safely disconnecting the wires on the alternator. Valve covers may hit them. So, and this one has capacitors. And all that crap. So I'm gonna see if I can do it without disconnecting the battery so I don't lose all that shit. I got this valve cover off to put on this valve cover over here. I have this custom one that gives you a lot of horsepower. This is for, as you can see, I've been doing this for a while. I haven't bent this certain ways because it helps with the deflect and adjusting, but this is what I use to do the hot adjustments. So I gotta get that one off. You can see the wires are kind of like right there. Let's see. It's real close. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem. Should be able to lift right off. It just gets real close to this stud right here. So I might put a bunch of stuff over that, or I just made a disconnect. The pain is on this one is even though you disconnect when you run capacitors, if you take this ground off, this battery's dead, but the system still has power. The capacitor's still holding power. You have to ground the capacitor out to get the energy out of it. If you don't, it'll still zap when you touch something, and then it's going to zap when you recharge the system for the voltage. But won't get into that crap. That's on YouTube too. Plenty of stuff on capacitors. These older cars are really thankful when you run them because the wiring, the way the system's set up, even though that's 170 amp, 180, it's the same one I put in the truck all at the same time. Big power, but it doesn't matter. The wiring, all that other crap. When you put any newer stuff, stereos, entertainment, power seats, any big draw stuff, it affects the voltage on the whole system a lot, even with the big alternators, because the way the wiring is. So that's why I run all that power stuff. Like pretty much this is factory for my factory side. These are, I think they're all 4 gauge if I remember right, 4 to 6. I don't know. I just use this for factory, and then this is double lot welding. This is for the aftermarket stuff. So like entertainment system, power seats, anything will go on the heavy load. So it's a big fuse, everything else. So there it is there. I'll post when I post. Appreciate anybody's time, comments, keep me entertained. It's no big deal. We'll be doing this year for sure. I can't tell you. Probably about 2 or 3 months within that frame. The budget, it's already working on it, but the hood is coming off. The hood and fenders are they're getting replaced. So the fenders aren't worth fixing. They're garbage. So I can get repops, you know. And it doesn't matter. It's not a show car, so I'll get the repops to work. They're cheap. They're $100, whatever. But the hood, this one has some damage too in a bad spot. I can't get to it. It's still fine, but I want to run a scooped hood anyway. So I want to go from grocery to cruiser car. So it's going to have the 2-inch cowl on it. So I'll probably do a video on that. I got to paint it, and then I want to put skulls on the scoop, all that crap. But that might be the next video on this car. Who knows? I'm gonna get on out of here.